Right. Shout out to Just Starting Paint. Oh, let me do a roll call, like if it's called Chronicles, because Cotter's ain't here.
Editor-in-chief of the RalphRetort.com. They should be able to hear me now. I'm on air. I'm going to read a few of these super chats. Let those gentlemen get ready. You can see them on the screen, though. I'm here on the screen. We got the two. I've only used this, I think, once before during the Warski Dick Masterson Blood Sports. I really like it, though. The only thing is you got to set it up a little early. Is the only thing there because of the way it's kind of complicated to set up. But when it's set up, boy, it looks smooth and great. There it is. Killstream with the Blood Sports logo. All right. Now, somebody said, old layout better. Fuck you.
Good night. Okay.
I like it because you can see both people at the same time. That's why I like it. All right, let me read these. I'll unmute the tab, and we'll be able to hear those guys. They can hear me now, though. Lord Zenu WT Law says, let's fucking go. Also, let me turn my camera. Did I do that? Yeah, so they can see my beautiful face. All right, now they can see me as well. Lord Zenu, shout out to you, sir. I've been getting good use out of that PS5 I got off you. Thank you so much, man. Good to see you. White Rabbit Radio with the host. Big shout out. Thank you, sir. Exploding Printy says, final stream +1. Still can't abort, dude. You can't abort yet. Not yet. Not yet. Hey, I'm glad it didn't happen before tonight, too, because I was really going to be pissed if it happened before this debate. Harold Silvatiti says, Ralph still here. Killstream cannot be aborted? Well, that's what they say. Lord Zenu WC Law says, press S to spit on Sheldon Adelson's grave. I co-sponsor that resolution completely. Sexo Tyrannosaurus says, Black Israelite. No! Well, I don't know if that's not a slanderous term. Hold on, we'll ask him in a minute. Let me unmute him. Let me unmute the tab. All of them. All right, Captain, you're here. It's been a while, sir.
Yeah, it has actually. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good, and we were talking about it. I don't hear the feedback very much. Sounds great.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect.
How you been doing, man?
I've been doing all right, man. Just out here, working, and I had my popcorn last week when I saw y'all overthrowing the government. But yeah, other than that, I've been pretty cool.
Well, we're going to talk about. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So why don't I just do this? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience for those who don't know who you are.
For those that don't know who I am, like I'm looking in your chat and that's right logo that's popping up in the chat. We're the fathers of that. Like y'all got that from us, so we appreciate y'all. I actually told the general from the video y'all got that from about it.
We got to get him on.
Yeah, y'all got to get him on, man. One time y'all got to get him on because, y'all kind of helped make him famous. So we appreciate that. I'm Captain Tazaryach of ISUBK. ISUBK stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Our mantra is to fix the conditions of the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians in North, Central, and South America. If you know anything about Black people, we're plagued with a lot of things. We do target or speak about the oppression that the so-called white man has done to us, but we also talk about our leaders that have sold us, or drugs, abortion, homosexuality, child molestation. There's plenty of things that we talk about. The Bible is our blueprint, of course. We believe we are the children of Israel. We teach that, we push that, and we teach that the only salvation is to turn back to the Most High. So that's my introduction, so to speak.
All right, we're going to let Ramzpaul give his introduction as well, and then we'll get an opening statement from Captain Tazaryach. Kind of a broad topic here tonight. How did we get where we are today? I think it's, kind of important. It's kind of an easy topic given, everything's complete shit. So each man's got their own view on how we got here. That's going to kind of be the discussion. Go ahead, Ramzpaul.
Yeah, Ramzpaul, and hey, it's great to meet you, Captain. I had no idea about you. I looked you up on the SPLC, and I see you're a fellow hater, so congratulations.
That is true. We have two off the list here tonight.
I mean, that's hard to do with all this. Let's face it, during this past, everyone's like kissing blacks. I mean, it's like the highest thing. So for you as a black male to end up on a hater list, you had to do something special. And what you did is you called yourself the Jews, and let's face it, the SPLC, ADL, they're the other Jews, and they're like, oh no, we can't have this. So it's amazing that you got on the hate list. It's going to be a great discussion, but a lot of that may be lies, because the things written about me are lies. I'm not a white supremacist. I oppose supremacy. I'm not even a white nationalist. and I support the homelands for a lot of people. Some of the stuff I read about you, I was like, man, that looks pretty cool. Like, you're against feminism. I'm like, I'm on board with that. You think trannies are kind of silly. If that's true, I agree with you on that. So I think there's going to be a lot of common ground here. I don't know how much difference there'll be. I'm for self-determination. I think your religion is kind of goofy, but every religion is goofy, and it's no more goofy than cutting off some guy's dick and having him in a sundress and saying that's really a woman. I mean, that's really goofy. So it should be a fun conversation. I think we may agree a lot on a lot of topics, actually. So that'll be interesting to see.
All right, go ahead, Captain. I'll let it start off with you, sir.
Yeah, being on the what is that? SPLC, was that Southern Poverty Law Center?
That's right.
Being on that hate group for black people, even for ISUBK, I mean, to be a black man in America, we're the most hated, not just by the SPLC or whatever they are, but by the police, by the white man, by the African, Chinese, Japanese. Whether we're in this group or whether we're not in this group, we're still the #1 hated people in the face of America. So being on that list is actually embarrassing to America, because when you compare it to the other people that are on that list, those people have murdered, lynched. They have actually really committed crimes against other races based on them being that race. ISUBK has never committed a crime against anyone.
Right.
So it's really ignorant on SPLC. So we do agree on them being ignorant for even having us on there. But to even call us a hate group when we're about the rehabilitation or the rejuvenation of black people, and I think that's what scares organizations like the SPLC the most. Because as long as we're high, drunk, aborting our babies, homosexuals, as long as we're those things, we're not a threat. But if we're clean and sober and vigilant and looking to get out of this condition, then we do become a threat, because we would naturally be the enemy to the ruler of this land. It was funny. Now, I'm a very tongue-in-cheek guy. You sound like you're a tongue-in-cheek guy. And when you call us buffoons, when you said, what's the word that you said was
goofy. I think he said goofy or silly.
I consider religion to be goofy, but I don't mean that to offend you, because I consider most religions to be goofy.
Right. No, I don't. Again, that's why I said good tongue-in-cheek. But as you compared us being goofy to most religions, you didn't compare us to trannies. Because you said it's just as goofy as a man cutting his dick off and putting a dress on him and saying that that's okay. Which is
I said trannies are more goofy. So I was in a sense defending you.
No, but even to put us in that same sentence, that's like the wilds of what we would expect, so to speak. So there may be some things. The only thing I know that we do agree on, probably, I don't even know if we agree on that, is separation between us and y'all. And what I mean by separation, I'm not necessarily talking about economically, because you can deal with anybody economically. But as long as we have your ways in our brain, it leads to our deconstruction. Right. If you think about Christmas, Thanksgiving, the things that y'all have us to celebrate, the identities that y'all force us to take on is a detriment for us, when it shouldn't be a problem for us to call ourselves Israelites, have our own culture, have our own identity. But that seems to be a threat to everybody. So I don't want to be too long-winded with my opening, but that's kind of like our opening.
All right, and we're going to let questions go back and forth. You guys know, I think you've both seen, I know the captain's been involved with several of these, and Ramzpaul's probably seen a couple of these, and he asked to be involved, and here we go. He's on the show. So they're very loose. I let the participants question back and forth, and we will have that going on. Go ahead, Ramzpaul. Give your intro. How do we get where we are? People storming the Capitol, the president on the brink here, all this stuff going on, and just the country in general. If you want to take it beyond the political realm, we're not doing that well, even beyond the executive branch. Go ahead, Ramzpaul.
Yeah, and I would disagree. I'm not necessarily for separation. I think it should be voluntarily. I think there's a lot of good black people. There's a lot of good Asians. Every race, there's a lot of good people. But I am a nationalist. And what that means is you need a country that has a common bond. And it's really interesting how we can see things so differently, because you're seeing this like everyone's against the black man. And I'm like, what the hell? Where have you been the last 20 years? It's just like, if you look on the news, everything is about blacks. Just yesterday, Biden and Kamala Harris said, we're going to come out with COVID relief. And if you're black, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, they did a whole list. And Asians, they make a lot of money. They make more money per capita than white people in America. So they get this whole list, but they leave off one group. What group is that? The white man. And if you work in any corporation, which I did for years, if you're white, you're held to a higher standard. You have to score higher, you have to do higher because they have these diversity goals. And maybe your experience isn't that way, but what I see in the world is that way. And when you talk about violence, I mean, you may not believe the FBI statistics saying, oh, that's just a white man lies. But if people that live around, if you're going in a white neighborhood, even black, you're not going to be threatened. And if I was going to South Chicago, I'd be killed. I mean, that's how it is. It's like 80% of the interracial crimes. It's not a bunch of white people attacking blacks. I mean, it isn't, at least in the last 40 years for the most part. Yeah, there's exceptions, but the crime is one way. How about rapes? Is there a bunch of white guys raping black women? It's almost non-existent. It's 100% the other way. So this whole myth that of victimhood, that blacks are somehow being oppressed by whites, is an inversion of reality. And it's at least for how I see it, and I think a lot of people, how they see it, when you open your eyes. So if I go into a neighborhood and it's black, it's probably going to be dangerous. If I go to a neighborhood that's, say, Asian, it probably won't be. There's a reason for that, and I think that's the experience of a lot of Americans. Now, does it mean that all black people are violent? Of course not. There's a lot of great black people, just like of any other race. But this idea, there's like this conspiracy against the black man, I don't think it's really helpful. I don't think it's helpful for our country. And it's really sad. It's really sad about in the 90s, I think there was a big attempt to get away from race, just look at the individual. I don't know if that was even possible, but that would have been a better way to go forward. But everything now is very tribal, and there's nothing we can do about it because human beings are tribal. And I think your suggestion of separation, I think in general, that's a good one. I wouldn't make it racial on how you would define it, because when you get into racial, it gets really complicated anyway. Like, would you consider Obama to be black? He's only half black. How about if someone's a quarter black? Where do you draw the line? Those are some of the issues you have when you get into, I guess, racial nationalism, which it sounds like that you support.
I don't know. Well, what I'll first say, how we got here, I would never put myself in the we, because black people had no role in how we got here. What you're seeing, what I mean when I say the role or how we got here, like, this is America's problem. This is the problem that America, and when you establish a city with blood, like Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, it says, behold, or woe to them that establish a city with blood. And that's what America was established on. So the only thing America knows is, if I want something, I kill for it. If I want to do this, I kill for it. Thank the Lord for COVID-19, because now you have no more mass shootings at school. Right. You ain't had a mass shooting at school since COVID-19 happened. Thank the Lord.
I had thought about that, Captain, actually.
Now, how many mass shootings have you seen?
Who's that in the background? I keep hearing, yeah. It sounds like, it sounds like Diamond and Silk.
No,
one's talking, the other one's like,
No problem. We have people in my school, in my building, that are listening.
Okay, I love it. I love it. It's a great, I got to remember that. So.
In Vegas, they had a country concert. You couldn't even go to the concert. I mean, that's y'all music. And they shooting up the country concert with an AR-15. So how we got here is because y'all have done nothing but kill and murder and take everything by force. And even as you mentioned the things like what Kamala and Biden is saying and what they're going to do for black people, that's what every president has said before they got in office. Every single president, Obama included, who's an African, you may not be aware of this, but just because you have brown skin don't make you the same people. So being an African doesn't make you black. Right. So Obama is has an African father, he has a white mother. We would look at him as African. He would not be our people. But they called that nigga, excuse me, I almost did it, Ralph. I almost did it, Ralph. I caught myself. But they called that African Jesus Christ for black people. And when he got in office, all he did was approve Planned Parenthood so we could further kill our babies, and open up homosexuality where we could be full out homosexuals. That's all he did. So nobody has ever done anything for black people, truly. Hillary Clinton, who black people for whatever reason love, called us super predators. So how we got here was Donald Trump said he was going to make America great again, which was the greatest thing that white America could hear. The greatest thing. Because in their mind is, we going to put them Negroes in their place. We going to put them wetbacks in their place. We going to put them spicks in their place. They going to know who the real leader is. And it ain't worked out. That's why they decided to use the term, which is what they call crossing the Rubicon, which is what you saw last week. What you saw last week, which it was not a unorganized event. That was something that was mentioned back in December, probably earlier than December. When Trump realized he lost that seat, he decided to use his power of media to stir up white America that loves nothing more than to kill and put black people in their place. Something happened in America that ain't happened since, what, 1817? It was 1817 when a foreign nation flooded and destroyed and came and was able to infiltrate the White House. And America hates the rise of minorities so much that they would rather destroy their own capital just to keep it. Because
it happened in '83. There was a bombing in the Capitol by Susan Rosenberg, and Clinton actually pardoned her. I mean, there's been bombings in that was a left-wing group, by the way.
Now, Paul, let me show you how volatile it is for black people than white people. In 2013, a mentally challenged black woman was driving her car erratically because she had a psychotic break, and they killed her in the car. They was able, over thousands of people was able to invade, take secret documents of the White House, and they were not killed. They were not shot. Nothing happened to them. They put in a curfew and peacefully made them leave. You didn't see no tear gas. You didn't see
wait a minute. What? I didn't see Ashley Babbitt. That she was like fake. That was fake, you think? Ashley Babbitt? I saw her get a bullet in the neck. Was that fake?
She was probably shot by her own people. She was not shot by the
her own people shot her. Why would her own people shoot her?
Because when you have a riot, that's what happens. My point, here's my point. When Black Lives Matter, which I don't support them either, but when they knew Black Lives Matter was coming, the National Guard was lined up in front of the White House.
Were they kneeling? Because I remember the police kneeling for Black Lives Matter. I remember Black Lives Matter rioting for 7 months. I remember in 2016, a Black Lives Matter supporter killing 5 Dallas police officers. You remember that? I remember that. They ended up having to blow him up because he held himself up. 5. He murdered 5 Dallas police officers.
Now,
by the way, chat's bringing up Ashley Babbitt. It's my understanding she was killed by a black police officer or like Capitol Hill security.
Yeah, listen, a black police officer will always kill. We call that the mark of the beast. That we have a problem with black police officers too. How you gonna go work for the same government that's designed to kill us? That's why so when I'm saying government or police, if you're black and you work for the government or police or military, you have what we call the mark of the beast. In scriptures, the Revelation, the 13th chapter, it says if you have the mark in your forehead or your hand. In your forehead is the knowledge that you have for the beast. In your hand, it symbolizes the action and who you're willing to kill for that beast. So that's correct. So my point in talking about the Black Lives Matter is not about whether they killed and who didn't. The National Guard was there so that they could not penetrate the White House at all, the Pentagon at all. But when your guys came, nobody was there. Nobody showed up. They allowed them to break into Nancy Pelosi's office. They live on Instagram doing everything. But when we protested in New York City for George Floyd, they ran them over with cars. So there's always a difference. And I don't fault you. When I'm saying you, of course, I'm not talking about you, Paul Ramsey, because you may not agree. Yeah. So you is general. I don't fault the favoritism that y'all show to other white people. I just want my people to see the favoritism that y'all show so we can stop giving y'all our favor and give our favor to us. Like we're supposed to, like you're supposed to, there's nothing wrong with racism in the sense that you should feel that your race is above every other race. So if you see your race failing, you should fix them first. The problem in America is that when black people decide to fix their race first, we're called a hate group, which is why we're on the Southern Poverty Law Center. A hate group should be somebody that's actively preaching kill or death or destruction to another race. We've never said to kill any white man, any African, any Chinese. We actually say leave them alone is what we say. And because we say that, we're looked at as the hate group. So what we saw last week was the real killer. The real killer in America is white folk. And they'll kill their own if it means keeping it from us. Like to those people that invaded it, Joe Biden and Kamala, they might as well both be black people. Joe Biden might as well be black and Kamala might as well be black to those people. Because to them, they'll be taking the country away from them. And so if that
by the way, are you saying Kamala's not black?
No, not really. Kamala is East Indian.
She's not. I'm just wondering if you were saying that.
Yeah,
no,
I think she's Indian. I think she's Indian.
Like, she's like East Indian. She's not black at all. The reason why I'm saying black is because for some reason black people fell in love with Democrats. At one point, blacks originally were Republican. And then for some reason they fell in love with Democrats, but Democrats treat black people like a stray alley cat. Like they got to neuter them, so that's why they have abortions.
A little bit of milk out every once in a while. Yeah, they do. Now, let me ask Ramspaul. He said white people, basically the biggest killer in the country, the biggest menace.
Not just the biggest, the best.
Biggest and the best. What do you say to that, Ramspaul?
Well, and per capita, that's not true. The most of the murders, if you break it down by the population, African Americans or blacks. What's the proper? I think African American is not used anymore. Is it? It's blacks. Is it what it is?
Capital,
I want to do what's proper.
Capital B.
You created you created all these bywords, so whatever you choose.
No, I think Jesse Jackson created African American.
You know what? I stand corrected. You're right. That uppity Negro decided to call us two continents. How you gonna be two continents? How you gonna be African and American? We're the only people that got to do it. If an Italian comes over here, he's just Italian. Or just Irish, or just Scotland, or something like that. But you can continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah. Per capita, blacks commit more violent crimes by far. It's not even close. And it doesn't mean, of course, whites do too. All races do too. But in a sense, I agree with you. I think we can't cram cultures together because there's, no matter showing you the statistic, it's not going to change your mind. There's always this, the white man's trying to keep you down. And I kind of agree with that you need your own space. I think everyone would be happier. So in that sense, I am a nationalist. I don't think it's a good idea to try to force people together that have different values. We have a lot of different values. We don't share a common blood. We don't share a common religion. We don't share common customs. We sort of share a common language, which, you got from us, but even that isn't your native language. So we have all these different types of people that would be happier with their own kind. I agree that. Now, concerning like the whole violence historically, every group was very violent historically. I don't know any exceptions. There were mass killings by African tribes against other African tribes. In fact, how slavery happened, it wasn't like white people were running through the jungle catching Africans. They were sold. Africans would capture other Africans and sell them, typically to Arab or Jewish merchants, and they would come early on to the United States, which was a horrible thing. Right. And I condemn that, but that's how it happened. I mean, you just need to look at us as like another tribe in the world. You have Indian tribes, you have African tribes, you have Asian tribes. We're a tribe from Europe that came over on boats, just like Genghis Khan. He invaded Europe with his tribes. That's history. History is full of violence. And I think to keep things peaceful and happy, it's easier when we have separate homelands. That's what I support. Where I differ, I wouldn't make it strictly racial, and because again, you get into a lot of issues there. And I don't want a homeland with all white people because white people are different. Russians don't really care for Hungarians, and I used to live in Hungary because of that history there. So there's a lot of small is good. I think you have a country like Finland for the Finnish people, that tends to be the way to go. And even Africa was made up of a lot of different types of people. It wasn't just the Bantus. You have like, and it's funny because you brought up this Capitol Hill protest, and one of the leaders was this guy from, I think his heritage is Ethiopian, Ali, what's his name? Ralph Eaton?
Ali Alexander.
He's like a MAGA type, base black or whatever, and he was one of the leaders for that. So it wasn't, and the guy that was dressed up as a buffalo guy, the Buffalo Man, he was Jewish, not you Jewish. I mean, it's the traditional.
No, you said the right word, Jewish. You said the right word.
Oh, okay, because you don't consider like Ashkenazis to be Jews, or do you?
No, that's why I said you could say Jewish. The ISH means to be like.
Okay. Yeah, he's Jewish.
We may say so-called Jew, but the Ashkenazis, they're imposters.
Right. And I'm fine with the religion. I really am. Everyone has because the religion is important. That's one of the things that binds you as a community. And no one can get away from religion. Even if you're an atheist, you tend to get like social justice type bullshit or whatever. So everyone's going to have a religion. And a religion historically is something that's sort of mandated for a people. And like we're a Christian nation. That's how the United States was founded. And that it enables us to have a common view of the world, how we interact with the world. And I guess you're Judaism, and there's Muslims, and so forth. So I think that's how we have to look at it. So I agree with you on the need for separation, not just white and black, but other groups too. And I think that would provide some more happiness. And I would disagree with you that whites are especially wicked or violent. I think all groups have been wicked and violent in their history.
Oh, there's no.
Now, what do you say to that? Go ahead, Captain.
No. Go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off, Rob. Go ahead.
No. I was going to ask you, what do you say to that? By the way, I'm throwing out the link for people who want to call in. Okay. Our Discord got deleted yesterday. It's not fair, but you have to join the new Discord to call in. Go ahead, Captain.
No sweat. When I talk about the murder, and when I say the white man is the best murderer, the reason I'm saying the best is because there's other, like you said, you got tribal beefings amongst everybody. You have black on black crime, you have African on African crime, you have all different type of crimes. Just to clear up a few things, we wouldn't call ourselves into Judaism because Judaism, those imposters only follow they only tell you that they follow the Torah. We follow the Old and New Testament, so we believe in Christ and stuff like that. We wouldn't call ourselves Christians though, because Christianity, they're murderers just like the Arabs would be murderers. When they came over here into America, one of the reasons why we call y'all the #1 killers, when y'all came over here with that sword. When Columbus and them came over here, which y'all celebrate every Thanksgiving, y'all slaughtered the Native Indians who was kind to y'all. You know what I mean? So
we conquered them like every land in the world is based on someone conquering another tribe. That's how it is. Right. And actually, we were actually pretty nice to them because we could have genocided them, but we didn't. We could have. We had the better technology.
You see how merciless the white man is? We could have genocide. We could have just.
We could have, but we didn't. In fact, we gave them their territory, and now. You see, they get special benefits. Like I'm not Indian, so I don't get special benefits. Who other does that? You think Genghis Khan did that? You think Genghis Khan had mercy to the Europeans when he rode across? And hell no. Do you think African tribes have mercy for other African tribes? Hell no. You think how about other Indians? Right. You think other Indians treated each other well? No, they took each other in slavery. By the way, you weren't the first slaves in North America. Indians took other Indians as slaves. And just a little tidbit, down in Oklahoma where I used to live, the Cherokee Indians, you know what side they fought on in the Civil War? They were part of the Confederacy. And a lot of the Cherokee Indians, they had African or black, or whatever you want to call them, or Negro as it would be called back then, slaves. So it's, that's Indians, dancing with the wolves. And here's our Negro slave. That was the Indians.
Now, this is how diabolical and subtle the white man is. He talks about how they could have genocided us. The Native Indians didn't treat y'all like that. This is why I call y'all the #1 murderers. When y'all came over here, the Native Indians didn't go to war with y'all. They entreated y'all kindly, and their kindness was met with the sword. So you could mention Genghis Khan, or you could mention the other African tribes, and you're right. If you went into their lands, you would have had to fight to take their lands. You didn't have to fight with the Native Indians to have any part of their land. You just chose to kill them because you wasn't just after the land, you wanted their resources. You're also correct when you talk about the slaves. The Native Indians were slaves first. Columbus is the father of the transatlantic slave trade. Slavery didn't start from Africa to America. It started from America to Spain first, when they took the Taino Indians over here. And then after they brought the Taino Indians to Spain, then they started taking blacks to America. And so now you say, well, the Indians had slaves, they fought on the side of the Confederates against the blacks. That's also the subtlety of the white man. The same reason you have a North and South Korea is the same reason Indians had black slaves. And guess what? Black slaves had Indian slaves. You know why? Because when the blacks first came over here, we joined with the Native Indians to fight against this common enemy, which was the so-called white man. And the white man, in his subtlety, said, I know how to divide them. Let me create animosity between them. Let me let the blacks own slaves. Let me let the Indians own black slaves. And then that created a violent act against us. When you say that the Native Indians got a benefit, they did not. So you telling me you go from running the whole country, the whole continent, North and South America, and now you on a reservation. Right. So you got a whole continent, now you got about 20 acres of land after having the whole continent. That is
why are you considering the Indians to be one group of people? There were multiple tribes. Do you understand the history? How some Indians fought on the side for the English and some fought for the French? Do you know that, right? There were different tribes. They didn't run over the whole land. They hated each other. They fought each other. And how are we different from the Indians? Just pretend the English were an Indian tribe across the Great Pond, and we knew how to build boats, and we came over. How are we different than Indians? How?
Have y'all ever let y'all prisoners free?
Prisoners free? Of course. Yeah. We just Trump let a bunch of prisoners free. What are you talking about?
You don't understand the prisoners I'm talking about. The prisoners I'm talking about is the ones that you keep on the reservations. The prisoners I'm talking about is the ones that you enslaved and then so-called freed in the 1800s, and we're still fighting for so-called freedom to this day. Every president since the 1860s, 1870s, they so-called freed the slaves. Every president's mantra has been to make it better for black people, but we have never been free. We have steady been targeted. And the other thing you said, you're right. Black on black crime does take place. The difference between black on black crime is if a black man commits a crime against another black man, he's going to go to jail. But when you guys commit crimes against us, there is no justice. They had
so Dylan Roof didn't go to jail.
And wait. So you're gonna compare Dylan Storm Roof? So here's how nice y'all took that nigga. Y'all took that. White boy. I'm sorry, Ralph. Y'all took that white boy.
We gotta edit the N word now.
Yeah,
he is black, but still.
No, he's not black. No, he's not black.
I'm saying you're black.
Oh,
but
I'm
still.
black.
You said the N word. You said the N word. You can't say the N word.
Well, it was the A version, and I've heard other streamers that are black on here get away with using that. But I'm going to ask that you refrain, please.
Right, Ralph. I apologize, but they took that nut to Burger King.
No.
They treated him kindly. They don't treat us kind. You know what they do to us? A brother running from child support, running from the police, they shoot him in the back. He didn't commit no crime. He just running. They shoot him in the back. Tamir Rice was a 13-year-old kid. No justice. How many people? George Floyd. No justice. So yeah, you can bring up Dylan Storm that went to jail. But how many countless others have died at your hands with no justice?
No, I brought that up because you made the statement white people don't pay that you said that white people don't pay a penalty if they kill blacks, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. They pay a worse penalty. They get hate crime violations.
Where? Because George Zimmerman's still walking free.
He had a trial, right?
Of his peers? What trial he had? Did he get indicted?
Yeah, he had a trial.
Yeah, he was let go.
I'm gonna Google it. He I don't think he got indicted.
So they just let him out of the prison.
Yes. No indictment.
No, he had a trial. He had a trial.
I guarantee you. Let's say for the sake of argument, we lived in a world where if a crime against anybody,
state of Florida versus Zimmerman. July 13th,
He was found-
2013.
was he found
A
not guilty?
6-person jury rendered a not guilty verdict
Really?
on all counts. Yes, he went to
Six-person
trial.
jury?
And he
Because
was
guess
found-
what? You can't attack someone, right? You
what-
can't attack someone. If you're going to attack someone, you got to pay the consequences. Florida has the stand your ground
wait.
law,
So where-
and that's
where did-
good.
where
If someone's
did-
attacking you, you can shoot them.
But where was he attacking George Zimmerman when the police told him not to pursue him? That's recorded. On the recording, they told the police, they told George Zimmerman to not pursue him. He pursued him. He hunted him down like an animal. He had no weapon, and all he could try to do is defend himself. So if it's on if the 911 conversation, the police is telling him not to pursue him, not to shoot him, not to harm him, he does it anyway. So
Well, we could go over the whole trial here if you
I don't
want,
wanna go-
and
I-
that would be,
I
I
don't
think,
know
kind
if
of
we got
boring.
that.
But
That
I'm
would
just
be-
saying the statistics is more whites are killed by the police per capita than blacks. Whites police are scared to death to shoot a white person, and you want to build
said
it, bring
they're
the incident
scared?
where a black person was shot unfairly by the police. It happens. But I saw a guy. Let me just, if we're going to tell stories, I saw a horrendous video. A white guy was laying on the ground in some like a hotel lobby, and he was trying to obey instructions, and they just murdered him. The police.
Who's this?
Police can
Can
be
you put-
assholes.
can
I
you
have no
please
doubt
show
about
me-
it. I'm not a, or as you say, police.
But you know,
Or
George,
how do you say it? Police.
I say,
I-
I say,
Now,
I
wait,
say-
hold on.
I
He
say
mentioned.
police.
I want to get this talking point out because he mentioned, and I see some people in chat mentioning it as well. And you
Right.
alluded to the crime stats earlier, Ramspaul. He said, he was talking about white crime against
The per
black
capita,
people.
right.
I was going to get you to expound on black crime against whites, Ramspaul, if you wanted to. You kind of alluded to it earlier.
And before you do that, George Zimmerman was not a policeman.
Right. So.
No, he was not.
So
So
you could show me.
So what? So what? If someone's attacking you, you have the right to
He
defend
was
yourself.
not being attacked though. You keep saying it's some.
The jury thought otherwise. Okay, the jury looking at the evidence thought
Listen,
otherwise.
That's
I
my point. Every jury thinks otherwise. There's not a jury on that has never thought a white man was guilty of killing a black person.
Who was that guy
Rodney
that was
King
running
had
back?
his guy
O.J.
back.
Simpson. O.J. Simpson.
Hey,
Black,
you know
because that
what?
was a
I'ma
black
tell you
jury.
hey, you know what's funny about the O.J. Simpson one? That's the only one black people love, and O.J. Simpson, we don't even look at him as black. You know
But
what?
who's black? Come on, you say no one's black. Who's black?
No. O.J. Simpson really is black. The reason why we say that is because nobody really, O.J. Simpson, he would sleep with white women and stuff like that, so he would be like a sellout black person.
Doing Hertz commercials and shit.
Right. Yeah, you see how they treated him in Naked Gun? Like they
No, there's a
treated him-
quote from him where he said, "I'm not black, I'm OJ."
Yeah.
That's what he said. Yeah.
So what I mean, by
I
that-
liked OJ.
that's the
I'm
only-
old. You're young. I can remember when
Yeah.
OJ Simpson would run on Monday Night Football and Howard Cosell, the juice.
Right.
And OJ was great. He was a great running
He was
back.
definitely one.
We
one
don't
of the
we don't
best.
have that anymore
He was
because
one
of the
the
rule
best.
change in football.
Yeah, he was one of the best running backs. Remember, he did in like 12 games during this time when he did the 2000.
Yeah, now I have to be honest though, I'm from Denver, Colorado. You probably don't even know this running back, but Floyd Little was incredible, but he played for shitty teams. He was a great running back. Up there with OJ Simpson, but because he played for a bad team, although OJ played for a bad team too,
Yeah,
right? The
because Buffalo was bad
That's
too.
true. The
but-
Bills were complete shit the entire.
Oh, they were
time.
shitty, yeah, but anyway, that's I'm getting to my point,
Right.
and this is how we're getting to America. Is even the juries now tend to be biased. Like, I mean, if you're in a
Biased
black
to
jury,
who?
you're screwed if you're a white guy. So we need
Okay, you're gonna show me
separate.
that.
We
You're
need
gonna-
separate homelands. I'm actually the solution. I think we agree on. We really do. A little bit different though, because I'm not so much I guess you're a racial nationalist, right? You want to allow Hispanics in, or is it just keep the white man out? Would you allow mulattoes in, or how would you determine
Well,
who gets in your homeland?
You call mulattoes? Is that like mixed? Like where you got like a black?
Yeah,
and
it's
white?
a black. Obama was a mulatto.
Okay, so we don't really look at it that way. Our belief system is you are what your father is. So you could be a black man with a white woman, and we would look at you. We would look at the child as a black man because of their father. So, like, let's say if it was a white man with a black mother, we would look at them as a white person.
Oh,
Like, so like,
then
for example,
why isn't Obama then a black? Because his father was black.
because I had said this in the beginning. Like, Obama is an African, Like everybody with brown skin is not black. Like you wouldn't call an Arab a black person, even though they got brown skin. You wouldn't.
No, or like
right.
someone from India can be
for
blacker
India
than
or
you.
East Indian could be black, and you wouldn't call them black. Black is a byword that we're called. We're the children of Israel. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we descend from that lineage. So even when you do real history, well, I won't want to say like you don't do history, but when you do history, it wasn't Africans that sold Africans. It was Africans that sold Israelites. You can find old maps where in the middle of Africa, you'll see it say land of Judah, because in 70 AD, we fled into Africa. And so we migrated into Africa because Israel fell as a state. And so as we're living there, when your people came looking for slaves, the Africans knew exactly who they was going to sell, which was us. And so they sold us. So it wasn't a African and African thing. It was an African and Israel thing.
I won't get into the religion because that's just, I mean, I could talk about history, but I don't know, Ethan, if you want to go down a historical debate, it can be boring, I think.
No, right, I was just mainly just trying to clear it up because you were saying why we didn't consider Obama black. Obama.
Yeah, it seems like you. I mean, so how do you? So you determine based on the father,
right?
If you're,
so like we look at Bob Marley as a white guy.
Okay, so if you have so if it's a white father, even if they have a child with a black mother, is still that guy doesn't count, right?
Right. The sperm. Let's just if you look at it metaphorically. If you take a seed and put it in the earth, you could take an apple seed and put it around a bunch of oranges, put it in the earth, it's still going to be an apple seed when it comes out. It's the seed that matters. So man carries sperm, like life is in our balls. It's not in a woman. You plant it in a woman, it incubates and then comes out. So whatever seed you planted, that's what comes out.
Yeah, I guess I'm not as much in you in the whole racial classification because I think I'm sounding maybe a little bit like a liberal now, God forbid, but I think race is more of a continuum. It's not these categories like you would put it in. So I guess I disagree with that. When you say race is a
continuum, what do you mean by that?
Meaning, I don't think it's just you have blacks and then you have Africans and you have whites. I think you have mixed race people, and actually all people at some time, there's a little bit of mixture. Looking at you, it'd be interesting to take your DNA test. I bet you're not 100% African.
Yeah,
because
you're right. I'm not 100%. I'm 0% African. Right. That's my point. I'm not African.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you don't believe your ancestors came from Africa?
If Chinese man was for example, white people have been in South Africa for over 1,000 years, maybe. Are they white or are they African?
Well, not 1,000 years, but yeah, they're white.
So why would I be white why would I be African just because I come from or live in that land? I would be whatever my people are.
Well, it's where you originate. Like I'm European heritage, right? Or Scottish heritage.
We would originate from Israel. That's what we teach. We are.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, well, I would disagree with that from a historical perspective, but I understand your religion, and I don't want to debate religion because I get it. I mean, everyone has their own viewpoints. I think Israel, before Israel, is more of the Middle East is more of a Semitics that were there.
Yeah, we're Shemitic. Thank you. That's my point. Like we ain't got to debate it, but just to correct you, we're Shemitic. We're not Hamitic. Even if you look in the Bible dictionary, I know you don't want to talk religion. But even if you look in the Bible dictionary, when it gives the descendants of Ham, it says not the Negroes. Because even by y'all definition, when y'all wrote that book, y'all knew we were not Hamitic people or African people, period. So we're not African or Hamitic, we're Shemitic, specifically from the children of Israel. That's right. That's what we are. So we're not African at all. So you're right, I'm a 0% African.
You call yourself black, right? For racial?
Well, we call ourselves, if you was to ever see us teach, we would usually say like so-called black, because black is the byword. Black is just a color. Black, like so the word Niger, I could say that word, Ralph, because that's a Spanish word. Niger just means black. So even when y'all call us the derogatory term, it's just a word that means black. So that's just a byword. Black is a color. Just like white. Technically, us using the term black and white is a misnomer because y'all are more Caucasian, or we would say Esau or Edomites. But white is a color, black is a color. Y'all not fully white. If I open up this Bible I got and I look at these white pages, that's not your complexion. So that's just a byword that, you guys used. So
right, and I agree with you. I don't think race or ethnicity is skin color. For example, you can have albino Africans. but they're still African, even though their skin color is white.
Right.
And so race is much deeper than that. And I would say it's on a continuum. It's not just based on the father and his seed. It's based on the mother too. And there's various, like if I should have a child with a Chinese woman, it's going to be a hapa, they call it. It's going to have characteristics of both white and Chinese.
Yeah, characteristics aside, though, like, and just so for the record, I'm not saying that like how you just said, if you was to marry a Chinese woman, have a child with a Chinese woman,
right.
Your child would have Chinese features. But
yes.
Seed-wise, or the chromosomes, like North Carolina University did a study on this, and they said although you get the same amount of chromosomes, 23 from the man and the woman, the part of the DNA that you get that make up your identity comes from the father. That's what we're saying. So when it comes to your race, it would always come from the father. That avoids confusion because, like you said, a lot of people mix, like how you use the term mulatto. A lot of races mix with each other. So to avoid the confusion, you're the seed of your father. So you can mix with whoever you want to mix with. You're still the seed of your father. But we don't, and just for the record, we don't condone mixing. Like no black person should be sleeping with a white person, Asian, African, Arab. You should only sleep with your own people. That's what God said.
All right, let me read some of these super chats. Sweatpants Boner says, chosen plus a certain word. What rough beast slouches towards Bethlehem? Shannon Christian and Christopher Newsom died horribly, unavenged. And then he says some other things I won't read. Thank you, Sweatpants Boner. Let's see. Lead Farmer says, Captain T is yoked. Look at those guns. That's right. That's right. I got a better one.
That's kind of funny, man.
Lord Zenu, WT Laws says, welcome back, Captain. Killstream.
Yeah. Hey, to the audience, man. Y'all got to tell Ralph to put me in the Hall of Fame. I'm supposed to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's been loving. Yeah. We are going to have some inductions in 2021, so we'll see. Now, you know how the Hall of Fame show works, though. We have a bunch of people on, and they make fun of you for the whole entire show, and then at the end, you get to make fun of them, right? That's how the Hall of Fame
that's how
show
it works?
I'm not sure.
Thick skin. I got thick skin.
I think you could handle it. That might be our final show. We might have to get the bleep button ready for your final act there, but all right, we'll figure it out. Though I'm definitely not opposed to it necessarily.
And I'm a newbie, so maybe I could get Rookie of the Year. Maybe I'll go for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I didn't even get that. Like, cause I'm a newbie too. Like, I just started coming on last year. I ain't get Rookie. I ain't get nothing.
We'll invent the Rookie of the Year and retroactively place you as the inaugural winner.
There you
go. Fly Guy Player One says, Captain T, are the Hoteps legit? We need to unite.
That's a question?
Yeah, they're asking you that.
Okay, I would never disrespect black people on the white man show. Right. But what I will say is Hoteps are not big.
I love how that guy said, right.
But
it's just like, what does he think about Diamond and Silk? I just love that routine. Do you like Diamond and Silk?
I don't know who Diamond. Oh, you talk about them black women that kissed Donald Trump.
That's right. That's right. One talks, and then in the background you hear, Yeah. I love that.
I can't stand them. I can't.
You don't like
now? I'll talk about them though. Now there's certain.
No, wait. No. What about the Hoteps? What about the Hoteps?
Okay. The Hoteps, they're just misguided black people. Like, black people suffer from identity crisis. That's why you find us in all these different religions. So some might be Muslims, some might be Hoteps, because they're just trying to find an identity. We were told we were African. Initially, we wasn't even told we was the great Africans. We was like gorillas in Africa. We wasn't even real black people in Africa. We was like gorillas. And, because they had Egyptians, you had Cleopatra putting like 10 pounds of black makeup on so she could be Cleopatra. What was it, Elizabeth Taylor?
What? Cleopatra is Greek.
No, listen, I don't disagree with that she's Greek. But even in, like, see, that part of history, but black people don't. So when they see Cleopatra played by Elizabeth Taylor, they believe, and even movies didn't portray her properly, because you're correct. Elizabeth Taylor should have played in her natural skin, because that's what Cleopatra was. But instead, she put all that makeup on and put some color on her. So we were taught that we wasn't great at all, and then they started looking at the walls in Kemet, and then they saw black color on there, and then believed they were black. So Hotep people are just misguided black people, but we wake them up too. That's about all I say about the Hoteps.
And I heard you're going to be on one of my favorite blacks is Jesse Lee Peterson. You're going to be on his show?
I did that. I actually did it in a month ago. He just released the video.
Oh, I got to see it. I love him.
You got to check that out.
Did he call you beta? I bet he did.
He tried. But
you're not.
Listen,
because you keep the women in line, right? With your movement.
What you think, man? Look at me.
Yeah. You keep women in line.
I actually ended up calling Jesse A and B. I didn't call him an alpha or a beta. I said he was like somewhere in the middle. So we call him A and B. But that was an excellent interview with Jesse Lee Peterson.
He's an interesting guy, and I really like
amazing.
him. And I think he's got a really good heart. I really do.
I don't know about. Well, of course you would say that because Jesse Lee Peterson loves white people.
Yeah, you probably would call him an Uncle Tom, right?
Yeah, even though Uncle Tom is kind of a misnomer based on what I think the real history of Uncle Tom, but he would be commonly called an Uncle Tom or a beta or what you would call a sellout. But when I interviewed with him, he had a doll. He had a Donald Trump doll on his desk. He called Donald Trump. Do you call Donald Trump the Great White Hype? Oh,
I do not. I do not really care for Donald Trump, what he ended up as, and so no, I don't.
But did you like him in the beginning? Like, did you think he was?
Yes, I did.
So here's my real question for you. What was it about Donald Trump? Because I just think he's a stupid white man. But what about Donald Trump made you believe that he would do something great for America? In the beginning, I ain't talking about, like what he became years later when he failed y'all. But what did you think he was going to become?
Well, I thought he really appealed to the populist notion, and that's why he won. Is, for example, a lot of our jobs are being outsourced to China and other countries, and he seemed to have a heart to really put America first, so our jobs would be here. Right. And it's kind of interesting because you remember Donald Trump would never mention ever white people in a positive way. It was always, my black unemployment is so low under me. He was kissing black ass nonstop his whole administration.
Right.
And it didn't work. He got, like, instead of 8% of the black vote, he got 9%. So that was a silly strategy. But see, there's a thing, I think a lot of black people, they can make a lot of money, and you could too. You won't because you have integrity. But if you became a conservative and went to like the RNC convention, you could charge like $20 for people taking a picture with you to show that they're not racist, and you would make a fortune. Wow. I'm not joking. That's how it is, because white people right now, especially now, that's why we're seeing things so differently. Right now, we are worshiping blacks. I mean, can you even see a television ad without a black on it? Now, you probably object to it because it's usually race mixing, but it's everywhere. I'm getting kind of black fatigue, to be honest, because it's 16% of the population. But if you're in Europe watching this, our TV, you would think it's like 90% of America is black based on what they show. And we have this worship of blackness in this country, and this whiteness is considered evil. If you're white, you're wicked, you're evil, you have all this white privilege. And most of that, by the way, is not coming from the black community. So I'm not blaming the black community.
So you saying Donald Trump failed by being black?
No, I was saying, you asked me why I supported him.
Right.
I supported him because he seemed to be like a populist, meaning, especially in economic terms, to keep the jobs here instead of sending it out. And he also had a sense, although he wasn't a full-blown nationalist, but he wanted to build the wall. What's the purpose of the wall? To keep Mexicans out, illegal Mexicans. Because part of what makes a nation, which I think you would agree, is a common customs, common blood, which you would call seed, but John Adams called it blood. He didn't call it sperm, but blood. Yeah, and you have all these things that have things in common. That tends to lead to more harmony. It's not perfect, but you get it. But when you balkanize, that's where you get all different types of people together in the same landmass. You're always going to have friction because we have different views of how things should run.
And I don't like the idea there's one view superior to the other. It's just different. And people need to have their separate homelands, and I think that would make things very happy. By the way, the Jews, not you Jews, but the others, whatever you call them.
Right, I know what you mean.
The Jews, they have that. They have Israel. In fact, the United States, we're committed to keeping Israel majority Jewish. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's what we're doing.
No, you right. Now you right about that, and I'll probably ask you a question about that. And so first, I want to say the Mexicans are my brothers, and this is their land too. I want to say that first. So what did he fail at? Like, what did Trump fail at for you?
He failed at building the wall. That didn't happen. He failed at when the riots happened. He should have responded more forcefully. Instead, he just typed law and order, and he didn't do anything. That was a huge failure. I thought he handled COVID wrong. I could go on and on if you want, but there's a lot of failures that he did. Did some things good, but he had a lot of things, I think, that caused him to lose the election. And Donald Trump, a lot of blacks liked him because he's kind of gaudy. He's kind of loudmouth. He's got that swag type personality. It's not something I really care for, but I know a lot of people like that. And I overlooked that. I mean, he's not a good character. I mean, let's face it, he's cheated on his wife. He's had various mistresses and so forth. But people overlook that because they're hoping that here's someone that actually stands for us, that will help us. Because white people are we're so gaslit, like we can't even stand for our interests. That's just wicked. And so many white people, they get their identity. Oh, we need to help blacks. Black fist power salute. By the way, you can do the black fist power salute, right? You're not going to get banned for that. If I did another salute that it was done 100 years ago, man, I could, Ethan here be freaking out because you can't do that. So we don't even have anything that we can do at all. Remember the OK sign? Yeah. The OK sign, they said, was some sort of white symbol. And that was a 4chan troll.
Not black people that did that to you. That's the so-called Jew did that to you.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I don't blame black people at all for that, because I agree with you. Hell, you don't even have that much power. Black Lives Matter. That one of the people that are running is a Rosenberg lady who did the Capitol Hill bombing in 1983. How in the hell does a Rosenberg get in charge of Black Lives Matter? How the hell does that happen? And so I agree with you on that.
Group. The Black Lives Matter is a lesbian group, and Jesse Lee Peeting would say lesbians. That's
amazing.
That's a lesbian group. We don't support Black Lives Matter. Just for the record, I just want that to be told. And you're correct when you say America funds Israel. Israel is only funded because America pumps billions, trillions, millions of dollars into.
We do. It's the number one country. Yeah.
Right. And so Trump. So now, where do we go from here with you guys? Because you guys feel like y'all losing the country,
right? And I think
now I'm gonna tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did. Right, I was watching. I was in the house with one of my wives, right? And so as I'm in the house with one of them, and we watching. So we watch a TV. As we watch a TV, my cell phone, my CNN pops off and say they storming the White House or something like that. I said, man, white folk going crazy like that. And so when I turned on CNN and I seen it, I stopped watching my TV, and I got my bottle. I had a $150 bottle of Remy Martin, and I poured me a cup, and I just sat and watched the show. That was like one of the greatest days, I think, if black people really wanted to see the fall of America, that was the start. Right there. Like, do you think America is going to recover? Like, y'all became the ridicule. And the greatest part about that ridicule, you can't blame it on you can't blame it on black people. You can only blame it on white folk. So when you mention China, Russia, and all of them, how do you think they look at America, your America now, at what you guys have done last week?
I'm not a supporter of the United States government, so you're kind of preaching to the choir. I'm not. I don't really care. I mean, I'm beyond that. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like you. I think we need to form our own communities and start to eventually lead to a homeland. Now, unlike you, it's not strictly racial, but we need to have our own homeland because we have different points of views. And actually, nations can be peaceful because you do your thing in your homeland, we do our thing in our homeland. Everyone's happy. And again, what's stopping that is not the black community at all.
Yeah, so now you ain't really answering my question, but when you say your own homeland, so you're saying in your homeland, I can come and live with you in your homeland?
Yeah, if Jesse Lee Peterson wanted to live with us, sure, why not?
No, he don't count. You can't use Jesse as the example. So let's say if I come in your homeland, can I rule your homeland?
No, you can't come in our homeland because you don't share our values. See, that's part of a nation.
So I got to
just like you would you want me in your homeland and rule your homeland?
No, I wouldn't.
Hell no.
So
no,
Jesse,
well, see, same way.
Wait, but Jesse can come into your homeland though.
I'm not a strict racial nationalist because I think race is a little bit.
My point is, the Jesse type can come into your homeland. Can he rule in your homeland?
If he wants to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we just have to have the good people. And I've had like Michelle Malkin. I'm friends with her. She's Filipino. I consider her a friend. So I don't look at this as a racial homeland, but there's certain characteristics that bind people together that, for example, you don't have. You don't even want, you reject that all. And
what do I reject?
Trying to put you in our homeland would be a disaster, just like trying to put me in your homeland would be a disaster. So the answer is separation. And part of the reason you're going to get when you have your homeland, you're going to have some trickiness about how you do racial testing and all that. But I think these things tend to be a little. Excuse me?
It won't be as hard as you think.
No, I know. But you know, an example like Israel, they are majority Jewish, and you could always get into this question, what is a Jew, right? But they manage. You disagree with them on what they consider to be a Jew.
They manage more so by their military might, not by right. Like
no, but I mean, they manage to determine who is a Jew, who has a birthright. So, like, I can't go to Israel and say, hey, I want to be a citizen here. They'll say, you know, F off. Can I say the F word, Ralph?
Yes, definitely. You say fuck.
They'll say fuck off. And then, you know, fuck off, Goyim.
They do it ass backwards. They do it ass backwards because they base it off of your mother. And then they don't accept everybody because when the blacks tried to go over there and live into Israel, they wouldn't let them in.
They sterilized some of them, actually.
Yeah, or the only way they will let you in is if you sacrifice your children and let them fight in the Jewish military.
Yeah, I mean, Israel doesn't want blacks in there. I mean,
nobody wants blacks anywhere, which is why we always have to fight. Like even in this country, nobody. It's like America was not formed for one day for blacks to be equal with whites. That was not the intent. We was brought over here. We was brought over here as cargo. We was brought over here as cattle, and that was supposed to be our permanent place. And then lo and behold, the southern states were smart. They said, why do we got to join the North when we got more people? We have the slaves. And so that's, you know, so their desire to fight in the Civil War was to break free from the North. And the North knew that the South would win because they had the slaves, and so they would win. So Abraham, good, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the North won because they had the superior manufacturing than the South. So, but you're right. But I mean, part of it was the self-determination.
Right, but they did make a compromise by turning blacks into 3/5 of man to kind of balance out the numbers. Because the
South, they did that to get the representatives because the Southerners were thinking they were being represented in the Congress. And a lot of that came back to tariffs because the United States had high tariffs at the time to protect Northern industry, but it fucked over the Southerners who wanted to sell their cotton to Europe because Europe was like, yeah, we're getting fucked here by these tariffs, so we're going to put tariffs on you. That was really a lot of the tension there. And the South said, well, we don't have enough people to get our representation, so can't we count our Negroes as people? And the North says, well, we'll do a compromise. You can do 3/5. We'll count the Negroes so that you get your representatives.
Which is called a great compromise. So we have always been mistreated, misrepresented, can't get ahead. Even when we try to establish our own cities by not fighting y'all, our cities was burned down and destroyed. So can you really get angry when you see a set of black people that don't want to be joined to y'all? Because
you think I'm angry? You think I'm angry?
No.
I don't think. Do you think most white people are like, "Oh my God, blacks want to go"? Oh no! Oh my God! I don't.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? Like you may not be that white guy that feels that way, but majority of white people are. When we say we get so much flack for saying something is like we're saying we don't want to harm y'all, we just don't want to join y'all. We don't want
I hear that. I support it.
Like we don't want your white Jesus. We don't want your religion. We don't want your culture. We don't want your system of government. We want to be left to ourselves. We don't even want you in our neighborhood. And when now the heavy part about the neighborhood, because this
I know. Finish this thought, and then I got to read these super chats because there's a lot piled up, and I want to get some calls in. I figure we got 20, 30 more minutes here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got about 20. Yeah, I got about 21 minutes. So I'll just say this real fast. When we say we don't want y'all in our neighborhood, we not just talk about the police force or your body force, but as the CIA planted them drugs, we want that gone too. Like that shit should go too, because we didn't bring them in here. So if you think about life before, and part of this is, well, I'm gonna blame all this on y'all. And the reason why I was going to try to take some away from y'all because I like to blame uppity rich Negroes, but uppity rich Negroes are also weak. So when we was segregated, y'all would fight us. And in our weakness, we decided to join y'all. But if you think about before integration, we didn't have the black on black crime that we have. We didn't have the drugs that we have. We didn't have the separation of families that we have. And then you had integration, feminist movement, the drugs, and every vice that you could think of that y'all would put in our community. So when I'm saying get rid of y'all, that's what I mean when I say that's what we fight against. We don't fight against the individual as much as the principality.
All right, let me read these because the people, I let y'all go because it was such a good conversation.
No problem.
The Z-Blog over on Entry says, I'm deeply offended by the racisms on display here. K-Max McDonald says, for both, I have heard Marcus Garvey was actually better for both races, but the elites wanted MLK instead. Do you both agree the rich want us fighting each other over scraps instead of aligning against them? And I'll start with you, Ramspaul, and then the
and I'll answer these briefly because I know you have a lot of questions, but quickly, yes. And I agree with the captain. In fact, the captain, I would say a lot of the dysfunction that we've seen in the black community since the end of segregation, we're now seeing in the white community. For example, illegitimacy, drug use, we're seeing that in the white community now. You guys led the way, but we're following close.
No, y'all started it. Y'all just didn't think it was going to trickle down into y'all community. That's right. And then opiate, y'all call it the opioid problem. But when it was the heroin problem, it was fine. And then now once it comes onto y'all, now we got to treat this pandemic. But when it was just us, it was fine. So you're right when you say it started with us, but excuse me, you're wrong when you say it started with us. It really started with y'all pumping it to us. It just so happens that white people got hooked on the drug too, and now it's become a pandemic. So.
All right. Now, let me read another one. The Z-Blog asks Tazaryach, where would you put the black homeland, Israel, Florida, or Africa?
Israel.
Or anywhere else? Israel? Is that what you said? Okay.
I say Israel.
All right. Let's see. Rowhouse says SPLC has labeled Jared Taylor and Ramsey on their hate list. What hate or violence have they ever preached? Captain, how can you say Ramsey has hateful views? Jesse Lee Peterson says far worse than Rams, and he's not on the list. The difference is Ramzpaul is white and Jesse is black. What would you say to that, Tazaryach?
I don't think Jesse has ever said anything. Just to repeat the question, is they saying Ramsey?
I guess he's saying that the
Ramsey
fact
is
that
on there and Jesse's not.
Yeah, I guess they're saying that that's an example of a
black privilege or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, when is Jesse? What has Jesse ever said that was controversial against white people?
I don't think either should be on the list. Is my personal.
I didn't say anything against blacks. I actually support your position.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know why Ramsey is on there, but Jesse for sure wouldn't say nothing to be on there. Jesse loved white people, man. Right. He loved white women, white people. I mean, I told y'all know he had a doll of Donald Trump on his desk. He's a friend to America. A friend. So I don't know. That was a dumb question.
K-Max McDonald says, can Captain agree with Ramzpaul? Groups are happiest with their own nations. You have your territory, language, history, customs, and people. We have our own. We can trade or converse, but you don't force us all together in one space.
Absolutely. That would be the perfect existence. Like how you said we could trade, do business and stuff like that.
Come on the Killstream and have a discussion and...
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's how it's supposed to be. Like in the Bible, Deuteronomy 7:6, to say we are a holy people. We were not supposed to give our daughters to their sons, nor take their daughters to us.
Or in the Tower of Babel. That's another example, trying to bring the globalism.
Yeah, we ain't supposed to have that, man. If it was meant for us to all be together, the Lord would have us together. There's a reason why we're separate.
Very good. K-Max McDonald says for both. I already read that. Okay, let's see. Z-Blog. I read that. Shawsby13 says, "Do Haitians eat mud because of the white man?" Oh my God, we had that debate once on this show. The Haitian mud debate.
I think that's true. Mud pies? Yeah.
Is that true? Do they actually eat the mud?
Yeah. Probably ate worse than that. Ate they shoe, ate leather. Listen, white man, listen, I don't get offended. White man is the devil. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
What does that have to do with the Haitians? They made them eat that? Or maybe they did. I don't know.
They enslaved. Listen, the Haitians, they was enslaving them. The Haitians had to poison them with what they call voodoo to get them up out the land. They the only race. I mean, they're the only people you could say actually won against the nation, and then they still suffer for it. It's like the poorest people on the planet in Haiti.
Yeah, it's an all black nation. So
yeah, it's a small. Yeah, they're the ones that at one time they got Napoleon them up out of there.
Yeah. I mean, you get an all black area, it's going to look a certain way.
Row House says, "For the captain, why is immigration something you can agree with us on? You can't agree with us on. Blacks do worse compared to immigrant groups. Mass immigration hurts black people like whites. However, when someone like Ramzpaul opposes immigration, it angers you. I'm asking you why."
I don't know if I get angry from immigration. It's only you single out Mexicans when it comes to immigration. Like you.
Oh, I don't. I'm opposed to all immigration. I'll take it. No one comes in.
Okay, no problem. Well, you're saying that now, but initially you say he would build a wall. The wall, you of course was talking about Mexico.
Right, because the wall's on Mexico,
right, and keeping the Mexicans out. But I didn't hear you at that time speak about the East Indians, which I think they are the number one.
No, I agree. I agree with East Asia, but obviously a wall's not going to help East Indians.
No, but the number one immigrants are illegal immigrants are them, not the Mexicans.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We're talking about the wall, though.
Right. It's because he was talking about the Mexicans that he said that. Now, if he was, I don't know if I was angry because to me, the Mexicans should own America. Like Texas was Mexico, California was Mexico, New Mexico was Mexico.
It was Spain first, though. It was Spain first.
It couldn't have been Spain first if it belonged to the people was here first.
There was no one here. There's just Indians. Texas was like had 3,000 people in it during the Revolution.
So
it was
if
empty.
It was Indians here, then the land belonged to them.
Whoa. Did the land, when the Aztecs took land from other people, was that okay?
You would have to show me where they took land from other people.
How are my people different than the Indians? I don't understand that. We're just an Indian tribe that lived across the pond. Think of it that way.
Indian tribe. How y'all Indians?
How are we not? How are we not? How are we not Indians? Aren't we all human?
Okay,
we're just a tribe that came across the ocean.
Does Indian mean savage? Am I correct in that? Okay,
no, it means someone they thought was part of near India. It doesn't mean savage.
India where? North America or India over there where East?
No, I'm saying you're saying you get focused on the white people. They came over and stole the Indian land, which is nonsense. There was all these different tribes. Well, they took land from each other. How are we different? We're just another tribe. Why do you consider us different? Is it because you think of us as superior? Is that it? I mean, what is it? I guess I could understand that. It's like, well, white man, you're obviously in a different category than Indians. Is that what you're trying to say, or are we the same category?
Well, I'll explain.
Okay.
When the Spaniards came over here, it's not because you're superior, even though you won. I'm not one of those blacks that believe in what you would call white supremacy or anything like that. I do believe that in your position of power, you have the ability to do things that I can't. But I don't believe in like white supremacy like black people do. But what I will say is when you Spaniards came over here, you enslaved, you took their language away, you damn near tried to rape them out of existence, you gave them a religion that was not theirs. You took away their identity. When the Aztecs, let's say, I'm going to just name two tribes. Let's say the Aztecs and Navajos went to war with each other. They didn't take their culture away. They didn't take their language away. They didn't take none of them away. They had tribal beef.
They took the hearts out. And in some cases in the Caribbeans, they ate them. There was cannibals. When Columbus came over here, they ran into cannibals. It was vicious.
I would never trust what Columbus said. Y'all have a whole holiday where y'all celebrate Columbus discovering America. How you can discover some shit that was already here? Right. This is why we say the white man is the devil. Like they give the story. They were savages and taking our hearts. We got to enslave them.
I'm just saying, how is that different than what Indians did? You have a different standard curiously, you have a different standard for the white man than you do the other Indian tribes. I don't understand that.
I don't think you're hearing me, Ramsey, right, Rams?
What's the difference? What's the difference?
I just gave you the difference, which you're not.
Oh, you're saying that the other Indians didn't take away their culture? They killed them. They wiped them out. Indians were cruel. In fact, in the French and Indian War, have you heard of the French and Indian War? That was actually a war between France and the
keyword French. Another set of white people. I thought we was just talking about the Spanish white people.
Listen, French and Indian War, that was based on the 7-year war in Europe. The French used the Indians on their side. And guess what? The French would use the Indians. This is how weird people are, even white people. They're like, we can't torture another Christian, but we can use our Indian allies to torture the English because that's not us doing it technically. That's how they use Indians. The Indians were very, very cruel. They would rape children. They would cut them up in front of their families. They were vicious. So none of this dancing with wolves.
I don't disagree with you, but you have never heard me say that other tribes didn't go to war with other tribes. That's not what I said. I said the difference was y'all have taken away identity, land, nationality, belief system. You call them Spanish. You call them Mexicans. You call them Puerto Ricans. They had names before that. You're not a rich port.
So what?
You're not a dog.
I don't care. Who cares? Everything changes. Indians would wipe out other Indians, take over their culture. So what? It happened for 10,000 years.
You don't care because you're the victor. Right. But the victims.
Well, good.
Right. Listen, you're agreeing. Give them a hand. But the victims.
Damn right. Damn right.
But the victim,
I'm happy the Europeans took America.
I know.
We introduced a standard of living and freedom that I'm not going to apologize for. The Indians are better off.
I'm not asking you. The Indians are not better off, and I'm not asking you to apologize. I'm just showing you your crime. And the victims of that crime want to speak out. So how
about the crimes of one Indian tribe against the other? Or how about the crimes of one African tribe against the other? This is ridiculous. Once you go down that road of whose ancestors did what, I can play that game.
Listen, you could play the game throughout history, and there'll never be a murderer or taker away of identity like you guys. Remember when we first started, I said that the white man is the perfect killer, is the best killer. And I said then, I'm not saying that black people don't kill, that other races don't kill, but nobody kills, murders, takes away identity, turns people to another people like you people. That's the difference. And it just so happens that your race of people is still on top of my people. Let's say if there came a time that we went to war, as you say. So let's say like when they so-called freed the slaves, and y'all actually freed us, and we was able to get liberated. I'll give you an example. When the Germans was doing that crap to the so-called Jew, which I don't care about that, they wanted to be black, put them in the oven, cook them to death.
No.
I can't say that either? I can't say that.
Well, we don't support that.
Okay, that's my opinion. The opinions of Captain Tazaryach, they're not the opinions of Killstream or Rock. Okay, I'll retract.
You're just saying you don't care about the Holocaust. Of course, you don't want to see genocide or anything like that occur.
No problem.
You're just saying it doesn't resonate with you. You're not rooting for the Holocaust.
I'm not
correct.
Right, that's correct.
You don't want to see that happen. You're just saying you don't care that it doesn't.
That's correct.
Resonate with
it doesn't resonate with me, right? But when the Holocaust happened, it sparked, you can say, World War II. And when World War II was over, they said we can't leave these people in Germany and in Poland. We got to put them somewhere else so that they can be liberated. So they divided Palestine in half and put these people in there and called them Israelis. We supported them so that they can be liberated and be free. But you didn't do that with the people that you actually enslaved. So you told us that we was free, and at every chance that we try to build ourselves up with Wall Street, Rosewood, cities in Detroit, cities in New York City, and Central Park, in Florida, all these different places that we try to build ourselves up, instead of allowing us to be liberated, you tore us down. So the reason why we keep speaking about you in the fashion that we do is because you have never allowed us the same freedoms that you allowed other people. That's the problem.
A couple things. First of all, the Holocaust started World War II. I don't even know where we're going with that, so I'll just skip that. The second thing is, how do you explain why Asians do so well? And they just recently came here. Shouldn't the evil white men keep the Asian man down? Why do Asians make more money than whites?
Okay, that's y'all fault for letting them. I can't talk. I can't talk derogatory about them either, right? But that's y'all.
No, but why don't we? I mean, we keep the black man down, or whatever your theory is. Why haven't we kept the Asians down? Why? It seems logical we should, but why don't we?
Okay, Asians don't have Jim Crow. Asians don't.
But why?
I'm about to explain it to you. Asians don't have Jim Crow. Asians don't have crack corners, and Asians were never enslaved. When you enslave a people, I remember they did a study that says slavery passes down in your DNA. So
really? Well, then it's probably in my DNA, because a lot of Europeans were enslaved throughout history, right?
I'm not going to be sorry. We're not talking about your people right now. We talk about mine. So when the Asians who have never been enslaved, they don't know what captivity is coming over here. So they're allowed the freedoms, and they're not like blacks and whites. I remember there's a good book. I don't know if you ever read it or heard of it. Hey, can y'all see if that book is in the back? It's called The Black Image in the Minds of Whites. It was written from like 1817 to 1914 or something like that. And in that book, when you read that book, it'll tell you that America was a business that black people were never made to fit in. Because as I said in the beginning, this is the book. I don't know if y'all can see it on the screen, if y'all can see it on the camera. This book was written by The Debate of Afro-American Character and Destiny by George M. Frederickson, right? And it's a good book to read. And in this book, it say blacks were never made to be a part of America, because it was never our role to be a part of the growth of America. That was never meant for Asians. Asians are free. Africans that come over here have more freedom than we do. Right. East Indians that come over here have more freedom than we do, because they were never a part of an agenda to keep that people oppressed. So they don't experience drugs. They don't experience separation of family and households and growing up in single parent homes and stuff like that. They don't experience the hell that we experience, which we would not have if in the 1800s, when y'all freed us, if y'all would have left us alone. If we would have been left alone, we would have nothing to say. In 2020, 21, who knows what we would be talking about? But we for sure wouldn't be talking about this. But y'all said we were free and never allowed us to be free. Y'all used the 13th Amendment against us. Y'all put Jim Crow against us. Y'all had 100 years of lynches. Y'all hosed us down. Y'all did all of those things as we were just trying to survive. And that's all we've been doing since we've been in America, is a struggling house trying to survive. And now,
how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I'll be 46 Monday.
Oh, you look younger. I thought you were a lot younger.
Listen,
but
man,
so you're of the age.
That's the beauty of being black.
Yeah, you look young. You've never been a slave in your whole life. The whole system here is dedicated to you, meaning you can get a lower score than, let's say, my children to get into college. If there's a job opening in a corporation, corporations have diversity targets to get you in. If you have the job, trying to fire a black person, good luck with that legally. They'll do everything they can not to fire you because they know a lawsuit's happening. So if you're going to do this historical memory bullshit, every race can do that. Romans took slave. Asians were in slavery with other Asians. Indians were enslaved. Slavery was a fact of the world. It started really from the beginning. Everyone had slaves. Guess who eliminated slavery? White man. We eliminated slavery.
This is so lack of mercy you have. As you make your counter argument, you say, how old are you? I say I'm 46. You say, well, you have never been a slave, so now guess what? You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, is what you said.
Exactly.
Y'all had a 300-year head start.
Right. No, you weren't alive. You weren't alive. What are you talking about? You weren't around 300 years ago. What are you talking about?
Listen to what I'm saying. Y'all listen to what I'm saying.
All right.
Y'all had a 300-year head start. We were enslaved. So y'all had 300 years where you can do and set everything up for your generations to come. Of course, what I'm saying, not you literally. And so here we come, the descendants of those that been in hell for 300 years. And you're saying you're mad because we had these simple ass I can get a job provision in place? So because affirmative action comes, so now I can get a job, because for 350 years I couldn't get that job. I can't even get that benefit. I can't get that benefit.
I'm saying I couldn't get a job 350 years ago because I wasn't alive, and neither were you.
No. But
you weren't alive either. So that's, if we're going to do this ancestor thing, it's endless.
Flourished. Y'all flourished. Y'all brought us over here. We didn't ask y'all to bring us over here. Y'all brought us over here. Y'all created this problem, and y'all so-called liberated us. So all we wanted to be was not oppressed. So to tell me, because they put something in place for us to get a job, is a detriment. That's how merciless you guys are. That's why we call y'all the devil.
Yeah, it is unfair because I don't see it as a collectivism like you do.
Of course,
you weren't ever. You weren't. You could say you're a people, but then I could say, oh, my people were one day were slaves in the past.
Of course, because you don't have that kind of compassion. But you know what? You know the compassion black people have as y'all building, getting terrorized last week. You know who was praying for y'all? A black woman. Who prayed for black people when they were getting enslaved and killed and lynched and robbed left and right? Nobody. But there's a black woman you can go.
You think the abolitionists were? They were mostly white.
There's a black woman that you can go to last week right now that was sitting there giving the greatest prayer on the face of the planet for y'all.
But and our ancestors, in fact, my ancestor.
But let me tell you, my literal ancestor died. He was in Indiana. He fought in the Civil War for the North, and he died.
Right.
Right.
He didn't fight for us.
Don't give me this.
He didn't
like,
fight for us.
Some black woman prayed for
he
a
did not,
fucking deal.
He did
These
not
people,
fight for
whites,
us.
bled.
He did not fight for
free
us.
slaves.
He did not fight for us. He fought for his country. He did not, in his brain, your father or ancestor's brain did not say, I'm fighting so black people could be free. He fought for his country. That black woman that was praying last week, she was praying for you. She was praying for your ancestors.
Oh, you're telepathic.
And let me tell you something.
You're telepathic.
That's the compassion that black people have over white people, and that's what
I see.
And let me tell you,
so
that's the
you can
one
go back
thing,
in history and read his mind.
Yes, I can. And that's the one thing that I hate.
It's amazing.
That's the one thing that I hate about black people, because they can give all the compassion in the world to yours, but we fight for them to give it to us.
Oh, compassion. Go take a walk in Detroit or East St. Louis and you'll find some fucking compassion,
and
let me tell you.
Y'all give no compassion to us. And the Civil War was for economics.
All right.
The Civil War was not about no moral compass. Abraham Lincoln didn't give a damn about the slaves. You can read.
He was a piece of shit. I'll give you that. But
no sweat. Okay. He did not free the slaves because he wanted to. He said, if I can resolve this and keep them enslaved, I would.
You're right. He did.
So I don't support There was
Lincoln.
No morality with the Civil War. There was none. It was all economics and business, because that's what we were, business.
To say that the abolition movement didn't exist back then is
Listen, as great as y'all say the North was for black people, they still had to come in through the back doors. Our great Cat Basie, our singers and all that, they didn't come through the front. They had to come through the back. They were treated like garbage. It was not about no moral ethnic cleansing that the North was doing for black people. It was all for what economic advantage the North could have over the South. If you want to call it today, you could say Democratic and Republican. They don't care about black people either. It's about what economic advantage they can have from the black people. So we don't gain by joining you guys at all. We have not gained one single thing. Even by your statement, even the job thing don't really benefit us like you think. But even the job thing you think is a detriment. Y'all don't want to give us nothing. That's why.
No, I don't want to give anyone. You got to earn it. Right. I don't want to give anyone. I would rather treat everyone on an equal playing field. You earn the position. You don't get a handout.
We fought in that Civil War. We fought in World War I, World War II, Vietnam. Every war, we join your police force. We fight and join your military to this day. We built this stinking country for y'all. There's nothing more that black people have to earn. We have earned it. This country is built on the blood, sweat, and tears of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians at y'all butchery. Right. There's nothing that we got to earn. You got to at least be an honest white guy.
No, America was built by white man families, pioneers, miners, the manufacturing.
Enslaving.
Picking cotton is not building the country.
Cotton ain't the only thing that black people did, and that's how cruel you are. Who designed your watch? Who designed your watch? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and let me read these. I want to get at least a couple calls in, and I know you guys. Honestly, I don't have to say much tonight. Honestly, I just let it go, which is the best kind of blood sports in my opinion. Epstein's Ghost says that's right. Sweatpants Boner says, let me wrap it down to you. We get all the Gibbs, y'all racist if you complain. HR lady got my back. Sweatpants Boner says getting the second largest pass, separate and equal. Godzilla 37 says Ramsey has a strong heart. Let's see. Wasatch Man says, when do black people start having responsibility? If you want to answer that real quick, if you guys want to give real quick answers so we can get a couple callers in. Do you want to respond to that, Captain?
I probably got it. I can go to about 11:30, 11:40. So if
okay, yeah, 11:40. If you can get 11:40 in, I'll read through these and we'll still be able to get in a couple callers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. I didn't know if you wanted, if it's okay with Ramsey. I didn't know if you wanted to go to the calls directly or answer these questions.
Well, I'm gonna run through these, and if y'all want to jump in and say something, just stop me. How about that? And if it's like a big question, I'll stop it myself.
Okay, no problem.
But yeah, we will try to answer them real quick so we can get some calls in.
No problem.
Let's see. Free Men Don't Ask 33. Some of them are just comments or whatever. Free Men Don't Ask 33 says, yeah, black people don't take things by force. Herbert Silvatici says, do Ramsey and Captain agree they have a common enemy? That's kind of a big question. We might get some question towards the end. Do we have any commonalities here, or like common enemies? Free Men Don't Ask 33 says, white people are killed by police way more. They kind of went over that talking point earlier. He's dead. Jim says, do you think BLM is controlled opposition? He did denounce BLM earlier as lesbians, basically, in the show. Lead Farmer says, Ashley Babbitt shot by David Bailey, BLM supporter. Sweatpants Boner says, Rosenberg leads BLM. The mark is being a mushmouth. And then he says, you don't deserve whites. Lord Zenu WC Law says, Captain is playing 40 underwater Hebrew checkers. Sexual Tyrannosaurus says, black selling property setting property on fire is not protesting. Godzilla 37 says, the best government designed to do it. Wait, the best government designed to do it, quote. Then he says, black still here. Sweatpants Boner says, pick any STD. But what is that? I don't know where that's coming from. It's an STD conversation. I'm not going to get into that. Cooper says, Jesus Christ. Cooper with the Ninjagini says, the mark on your head is for knowledge of the beast, and the mark on the hand is how much you crank your meat, he says. That's rude. Sexual Tyrannosaurus says, Indians were far...
Say some crazy shit, man.
That's what he said. Sexual Tyrannosaurus says, Indians were far from kind. Learn your history. Malcolm X is curious about Captain's take on COVID vaccines. Yeah, real quick. That could be a long discussion, but take on the COVID vaccine. Are you going to take it?
I'm not against anybody taking it. I mean, you got to do your own research. I know that a lot of conspiracy theorists make it seem like it's some type of detriment or anything like that. From what I've seen on the research, I don't know if I agree with that. So if you want to take it, by all means, you should take it. If you feel you're sick and, it's your decision. I'm not a conspiracy nut to think, the government is trying to put something in your body or kill you or nothing like that. I think they did the same thing with swine flu, with the H1N1. When that came out, they tried to make it seem like that was, I know there was black people that had people leaving America because they thought martial law was coming, and martial law never came. So I think when the vaccine comes and everybody takes it, 6-7 months from now, we won't even be talking about this no more. So if you choose to take it, you do. If you don't, you don't. But don't be a conspiracy nut about it.
Yeah, that's my position. And I don't think it should be forced on by your employer or the government. It should be your choice. Right.
The only thing I would say with the jobs, maybe like if you're in medical field, they might make it mandatory only because of the profession. But outside of something like that, it definitely shouldn't be mandatory.
Yeah, I think.
All right, now it looks like they took us down. Okay, let's see.
No, I'm looking at it.
Let's see.
Oh, did it pause?
No, they took us down for a chat room violation. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's froze.
Let's see.
Y'all can come on Cross the Line Radio. We live on my channel.
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe
it says the chat room is disabled due to violation to the kid. Hey man, you got to control your people, Ralph.
I think that's probably something that you said possibly on the show. I don't know. I tried to clean it up, but
Me? It said the chat room.
yeah.
So you saying
Well, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know what it is yet. They haven't told me. It could still be the chat. We were trying to mod the chat, but I don't know. They did take it down. We're still up on YouTube on the restream, I think. So I don't have any. I don't have any specialized knowledge.
The black guy, Ralph. I understand. I'm just messing with
No,
you.
I don't.
I'm just
No, I don't know.
I'm just
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Honestly, it could be that. It could be the chat. I really just don't know. A lot of people have been getting banned on D-Lob, so like it's not a total shock.
Okay.
So it still sucks though.
Yeah,
But I guess I'll find out more probably, hopefully soon. Let me see.
Okay.
But yeah, let me try to check my email. Obviously, this wasn't foreseen. But again, not a super shock.
Yeah, but it was a great show though. It was actually
No, it was, Captain. You're really cool. I like. Thank you for coming on.
no problem.
Yeah, that's pretty
anytime
good.
y'all want to do anything, of course, Ralph has my information. We can always.
Yeah, and I hope you get that Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, you should. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And Ethan says you bring in the good ratings too. So yeah.
So it looks like I got a 24-hour ban. So. I don't know.
Will you be able to save the video at least, or no?
Well, I mean, I have it recorded here, so I mean.
Oh, so you can load it on
So you
BitChute
can
or
load it
whatever.
up. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. I have it recorded here. But yeah, it does look like it's down there.
Man, that really sucks because it was a good debate. I think everyone was respectful, and I thought it was really good.
I thought it was pretty respectful, and I know there were a couple areas where maybe it got a little spicy, but it wasn't really that bad, honestly.
No, but when you have a debate, and you spirit in what you believe in.
Right.
I don't have
but
a
it was
problem
not
with
hateful or anything.
No,
Even the commentary
Just
that
tell
might
the
have been
truth.
spicy was not hateful. So
yeah, that's all.
that's why I hate to see it. There's a lot of people who, and again, we're still recording, so people will be able to see this eventually. There's a lot of people who watch my show and do that. Actually, it looks like it's a month-long ban, not a day-long ban. So yeah, so
That's fucked up.
I thought that might be what it was after I saw Owen Benjamin catch a month-long ban. I think they might be doing that. I don't know why. Maybe to just get out of this area. Maybe, I don't know, but it's kind of bullshit.
Hey, Ralph,
honestly.
just let me know if it was me, man, so I can apologize.
I mean, I'll let you know when I find out. Maybe there's a chance to get it lessened. I don't know, man. This is just what we're dealing with nowadays. So it is what it is. I could go through and read all these, but I mean, this kind of put a little.
Well, let's do a part two.
Damper on all that. But how about this? I'll just give you guys your final take here. As if we're still live. We are still live on YouTube, so
and it'll be reposted on BitChute, and now we're posting it on Telegram as well.
Excellent. Yeah, and I'll definitely retweet it once it's on BitChute or whatever.
Me too. Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Do the same thing.
Well, go ahead. I forgot who started it off.
Well, Ramsey can go. He can go for it.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I just want to thank the captain for showing up and Ethan for hosting this. It's really a lot of fun. And I think really we have a lot of commonality between us. I'm for everyone having their own homelands. I think it makes it better, and that reduces a lot of the conflict. And so, I mean, that's really my summary there. I think everyone, all groups of people are good. I kind of disagree. I don't think white men are the devil or black men or anyone. I don't think humans are the devil. All groups of people can be good. So I think that's my message. Just I think nationalism is a positive thing.
Oh, okay.
All right. Go ahead, Tazaryach. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it. Well, for me, it definitely was a good debate. Just for the record, when we say devil, we just mean deceiver. We don't mean it's some guy in the middle of the earth with a pitchfork or something like that. We just mean deceiver. So, and we agree anybody can be a devil, but we consider the white man the quintessential devil on the face of the planet. But it was definitely a good. A good dialogue, guys.
It was a lot of fun. I think it's a shame.
Yeah, it got really good, especially when we started talking towards the end. And anytime y'all want to, have a round two about it, you guys let me know. I appreciate Ralph having me on Killstream, the guy Gator, moderator, Ramsey. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and I think that's all I got. Make sure y'all tune in. Anybody want to tune into my channel on YouTube? It's called Cross the Line Radio. Anybody can subscribe. We do a radio show every Thursday night, 2 p.m. Ramsey, you could even call. We have a number that we have.
That'd be fun.
Every night.
Nice support, guys.
Yeah, every night, every Thursday night from 10 p.m. to midnight, we do like a call-in show. So we just take calls all day. We do like an intro, and then the rest of the show we take calls. Anybody call in. If you're on the line and you want to get bumped up, you just text me, and then you can bump to the top. And that's Cross the Line Radio. Also, my leader, Commander Jenny Yohana, he does a show every Monday. It's on Black Watch. That's Commander Jenny Yohana every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So y'all can tune into that. And that's it.
Oh, guess who else just got banned from YouTube?
Who?
The Great White Hope.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Oh, Trump?
Oh, yeah.
They took down his whole channel?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's happened to everybody. I wasn't even that surprised. I honestly thought we kept it, enough in the box there. There were a couple lines that were, a little spicy. I'm disappointed that it happened. Not shocked. This is the stock and trade I'm in. I thank both you gentlemen for coming on because I really do think it was a good show.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I appreciate it, and whatever happens with D Live, I'll just deal with it. Thank both you guys for your time.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, no problem.
Thank
Take
you.
it easy. Later.
All right.
Don't clip the YouTube yet. Well, there you have it. There's a first. Captain Tazaryach shut down the white man's radio stream. Give me a round of applause. No, I'm joking. Can you put it on me now? Can they look at me? You know how to work that? The main man. Oh, okay, there I go right there. Okay, I appreciate it, man. So welcome to another edition of Cross the Line Radio. We hope y'all enjoyed this show. It was impromptu. I couldn't let y'all know because I got banned from Facebook over that video with when the black guy smacked that Hamite. They banned me for 3 days. So I got like 15 more hours on that. Look forward to a sale on Tazaryach and Lily's Creations, 20% off coming up. Excellent show tonight, as always. And we'll see y'all this Thursday.